Well, good afternoon, ladies. This is Miss Jan from Amy Roberts Primary School coming to you on a Sunday afternoon, trying to give you a video to catch up what we worked on that in-house that the internet just was not working. So I'm going to try to go through the agenda, and hopefully you were able to print that off. I will not spend a lot of time, but I will try not to go too fast so that it will definitely, when I scroll through, you'll be able to see. And then you can send back any questions you may have. So the first thing we did was looking at the learning wall. And so first of all, I guess I asked if anyone had already created lessons in the LMS. And so what I'm going to do is start there first. I went back to the agenda and I'm going to create a grammar lesson. And I am going to at least put the information in, because I'm going to show how you make the container, but I'm not going to put anything into it, because then I'm going to come back later and in a whole different subject, probably put in a lesson kit. So let's first of all, I guess, go with the learning well. And one of the things I have found is that you really need to go and you need to make sure you have previewed what you want. So when I go to, we're going to move some items. Let's see. Learning portal. I want to go. First of all, if you have never been to the, what do we call it? The Learning Well, you can go to the Ministry of Education and their page. And over here under resources, it says their Learning Well digital repository. And I already have that link open. And I'm going to come back to this. I know I'm scrolling fast, like I said I wouldn't. But when you come in, it's not going to have anything already pre-selected. We're going to take out all filters. I'm going to filter in. So when you first come into the Learning Library repository or the Learning Well, it's going to have all of the subjects. It's going to have all of the grades, and you can then scroll and scroll and scroll. And that's how the first time I went through and I thought I'll never find anything. And then we worked on how do you make this happen? So if you see at the top, this is when we were on our session on that Wednesday, you could not see very clearly, but I'm hoping you can see that I take my cursor and where it says filter, I click on filter, add condition, and then it gives you an option. And I've not been able to find a name of a specific resource. You'd really have to know that. But I'm usually going for a subject. And then it says, we'll select an option. And for this one, I'm going to select general science. But I'm also now wanting to add an additional condition. This time, the condition is going to be grade level. And my option is definitely for me 4, 5, and 6. So now it has filtered out everything that I'm looking for into at least my areas of interest, subject, and grade level. Well, as I was looking at my lesson plans, that's what I've been doing since I got here around 2:30 before I started this, to find out what was it I really needed so that I wasn't wasting my time as I looked. In science, we're still dealing with weather, specific in general, versus social studies. We're looking at the climate and weather of the Bahamas as well as hurricanes, specific to us. But at the same time, I'm wanting to look at science of just general weather. And this then takes me where I needed to find something that I could look for. So I went through, didn't need any more about hurricane warnings. Now, let's see, where am I? It's like all of a sudden, all my stuff doesn't look like it's still here. I went out, I came back, I should have atmosphere. And it says I should log in. What a pain. Oh my goodness, ladies, let's double check. General science, fourth through sixth grade. Let's see, do I have any? Because I had it, it was weather. Or the layers of the atmosphere. There we go. For some reason, it just wasn't scrolling. Sorry, it's there. Maybe it was an internet again. So I'd already looked for it and it was near the bottom. So I'm scrolling. And it was layers of the atmosphere. I don't need, there it is, because I looked at the predicting the weather and we've already sort of covered that in more detail with the social studies. So I click on the item that I want and it makes it large in the middle. And what I'm really wanting to look for is this link, because this is a video. Some of them will tell you that it is a worksheet, a lesson plan, other activities. But for me, this one is great. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm copying it. And I did preview it because, again, you don't want to put anything in your class that you haven't already previewed. So I'm just going to put it there so you can get an idea of what it looks like.
Welcome to Bahamas Educational Express Science Lesson Video, The Atmosphere. Learners will be able to identify gases that make up the atmosphere, explain what is the atmosphere, and state the different layers of the atmosphere.
Okay, so I thought, well, that's good. We've looked at latitude, how that impacts the overall weather and climate. We've looked at altitude. And so now being able to look at the atmosphere. So if I'm wanting to put that, which is already in my LMS, I'm going to go and let me tell you, I'm going to get to my science. And I often, because I'm teaching a combined class, I make them so grade 5 and grade 6 have the same content at this time, because at Amy Roberts, we've made an effort that this year we're teaching grade 5 content. Next year we'll teach grade 6. But last year I taught grade 6, so that every other year, those who are in even 3, 4, they're getting the items they need. So I've come to my science, grade 5. We have weather and climate variables. I've already added videos, some that I had from last year, because if you are using the LMS and you have them already into your container, you have them. So you see, I've turned off some of the videos. They're gray on my side, but the children on the other side, they don't even see them. So that way I can keep adding additional resources. And then from year to year, depending on the class, I can determine whether I would need them to see all the videos, or I can then make some decisions, but I don't have to keep going and searching again. So to add from the learning well, and it was a video link, I'm going to go to add content. And I'm going to add a unit. Oh, I should have left that link up, but I'll go back and I can find and I'll show you why. So this is the atmosphere video link. And I typically put after a period of time. I'm looking forward to trying to do this one with a question, because a lot of the newer items that are coming out, you can see where it stops, or if you've gone to Nearpod, which we're going to look at, you can then use that as a place for the students to answer questions. But after a period of time, I also need to go back and look and see what the amount of time for that was. When I'm adding a video and I want it embedded so that the students can watch it from home, they can watch it at school, but it doesn't take them to the YouTube, it embeds it right here. I put URL and then I paste that and I click embed. Because some parents may have YouTube blocked on their items. And so there it is. But I need to quickly go back and re-click on that so that I can find out the length. Because it asks for it in minutes. And so I pause it. It is 8 minutes and 29 seconds. So I get my calculator and I multiply my 8 times 60 plus 29, and it comes up to 509 seconds. Oops, sorry. Go ahead. 509 seconds. And everything is in there. And I click save. So again, I go back into the actual container. They call it, you know, whatever you name the lesson, lesson 1, lesson 2. And every time you add something, it's always added to the bottom. And I tend to want to move everything up so that my students don't have to go look for it. So the last thing they looked at was hurricane, tornado, cyclone. What's the difference? So the next video they will see would be the atmosphere link I just gave. Now, because I had already done a connection with grade 6, I should be able to just go to science, grade 6, and the atmosphere video link is already in there. So I did not have to do it but once. Yay, so that helps. So again, if we go and look at the repository one last time, you will want to go look before you are ready to copy the link, whether it's a quiz, whether it's a worksheet, whether it's a video, you'll want to go and search. And the best way to search is when you go in and you know what subject you're looking for. Trying to reboot it for so when you first go in, it should come up showing all of your resources. You then go to filter, add condition. You pick what is it you're looking for. I usually do subject first. You can pick then mathematics, general science, language arts, social studies, biology, music, art, general, civics, history, geography. It goes all the way down. And then there's one at the bottom for Miss Charmaine. It has, I thought it had, oh no, it could be, I'll show you, it's the next one. So did I add my condition? Add a subject. Let me pick mathematics. And this time I'm going to add another condition. This time the grade level. And when you go to grade level, you also have preschool. You have 1 through 3, 4 through 6, BJC, BGCSE, and let's see what they have for preschool. So there you go. You have some of your information that you can go look at. Oh, I hope it stays there. Internet is still not always nice and pretty, no matter what. I hope it didn't go back. Oh, nope, home. That was somehow, again, I clicked on claim resources. That's not what I want. So let me do that. I said filter. I'm just going to go, let's do preschool grade level. You've seen how you can get all the different other grades. Let's do preschool. I was trying to get out of there so that box disappears. So you have all of the things you could look for, and a lot of them are videos. Yeah, I see a lot of yours are videos. But in some of the higher grades, you also have worksheets, assessments. So that's the learning well. You've seen a little bit of what we're putting in for how we can put in the link into the LMS, make it part of the capsule. I already had science, weather, and that was from, I think it was a year ago or 2 years. All I had to do was go in, find it, activate it, and I've just kept adding, so I don't have to add. But let's see, I said the item that we're going to look at, I'm going to add a grammar lesson. And so in grammar, I'm going to start out, I typically start out with my grade 5. They just happen to be on top. And this is going to be for the lesson kit. And I went in, I'm at a crossroads of what I need to do. And I needed something quick and easy. And the kids, they've already taken tests of parts of speech, but I still see there are some students who are having difficulty identifying verbs and nouns, but I'm not really wanting to repeat that. We've done subject, verb, complete and simple. And yes, we're going to need to get into some specific nouns and verbs, but we're coming up to exams, and I think I'd like to start the new year with that. So I thought alphabetizing would be great. So I want to go for the lesson kits. I'm in my subject. That's the one thing. You have to be in the subject you want. And you have to know that sometimes because of grade 5 versus grade 6, they're not the same. They could be, but it probably doesn't matter as I get to the upper primary. Lesson kits. Don't click on the drop down, because the drop down takes us to our grade book, exams, attendance. That's what we use all the time. But if you click on lesson kits itself, it's going to take you into them. And again, I previewed them. So yes, we did. Now, why is that not coming up? Was that grammar, alphabetizing? Or did I have to do spelling? Maybe it was in spelling. Ah, that's why you oh, ladies. It might have been in spelling. And that when I take it, I'll show you, because I want it under grammar. No content added as of yet. Huh. I was just in there. Let's see, was it reading? I should have written it down. Let's go see if it's reading. I was sure it was lesson kits. Oh, there it is. Yay. So it's in reading. However, I think I'll leave it in reading, but I'm going to use it as a grammar grade at this moment. So what I did, I dropped down this white arrow. So it shows me everything in there. I have my objectives, a video, content notes. There's an alphabetizing activity. And this is the nice one. It has a graded assessment so that when it pops in there, I can then have the students take it and I don't even have to write it. So the thing I do, and I only do this because I thought that Samantha told us that we needed to turn them all on before we get ready. I don't know that it matters because I haven't. There we go. So I'm going in, I know it's in reading and it's alphabetizing. That's why I'm really disappointed that you can't cross a different subject. So let me go to class streams. So I looked in my lesson kit. So far in reading, we've had author's purpose or reasons for writing, and we've done, that's pretty much all year. And we've been doing lots of other things that are getting ready to go in for grades, compare, contrast, summaries, those kind of things, but they're under author's purpose or reasons for writing. But I am going to go to add content. And at this point, it says add lesson kit unit. So I went to add content, add lesson kit content. Let me see. I am wanting all of it to be added. Let's see if we get that right. I may have to go back and do it one more time. Oh, there we go. So I wanted everything in my list added. I showed this to you earlier. I had previewed it. But then when you go to the top, you see where it says copy selected contents. Copy selected contents. So I'm going to copy the content. It's working. And when we go down to the bottom, now let's go in. I copied it. Let me check to see if now I go to add content, I go to lesson library. Just checking, it's been a week. And I really haven't done as much with the lesson kits, but I do want to more because this was great for today. So remember, every time you add something, it goes all the way to the bottom. So I know you can't see it, but I'm just going all the way to the bottom to see if it was added. No, fractions, national symbols, spelling bee. So let me go back. Go back fast to the top and see if it added it up here. But usually it goes down to the bottom. Okay, so let's go back to the reading. And, oh, wait a minute. There it is. Mrs. Russell, remember, if you don't go down, and there you go. Okay, so my biggest thing is that in doing this, I could have, should have created a capsule, which is fine. I can still do so because I want my capsule to be, I'm going to go to lesson library and we're just going to name it alphabetizing, a new lesson. Okay, add a new lesson. So you could do it either way. I couldn't remember making the capsule. Alpha. Oh boy, let me make sure I spelled it right. Alpha, it says no, alphabetizing. Ooh, in front of other teachers, alphabetizing. There we go. We're gonna add. See, I can fix this on the other side and make sure it gets into that capsule. You could make the capsule first and go in and copy your lesson kits, because I thought there had been a way you could copy the whole thing, but I don't see that anymore. So alphabetizing, there it is. You see it's turned on. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it. Let's see. What do I want to do? Couple ways, because remember, where did I want this? I wanted it in grammar. It's in reading. So I could turn this off because I don't want them to see it in reading. It's going to disappear. It's going to disappear. So if I go back to reading, I'll be able to see it, but you're going to see that it's all grayed out. Not really, but it's grayed out on that side. And eventually I will gray these out. What a teacher I am, huh? Let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to go to grammar, grade 5. So under grammar, I want to add that assignment or that capsule, that box that says alphabetizing. It's in here. I've played with this stuff so much, and I'm hoping I'm not going too fast and that it's like, oh my gosh, Jan, you're telling me too much stuff. But usually you can't make any mistakes. But where is the newest one? It's at the bottom. Go to the bottom. Keep going. And I just start alphabetizing. All right, there's alphabetizing. It is turned off in reading. It's turned off here, but I can now turn it on in grammar because that's where I really want it. And that is in grade 5. So I'm going to go back fast. You don't have to. Oh, and I've got mine so I can go down all 500. So in grade 5, alphabetizing should be there because I turned it on. I need to move it up from the bottom because the next thing they need, it is, oh my goodness. We've had all of our stuff, but I haven't had very much that's put, oh, there's our parts of speech. Those are tests. Oh, well, all right, Mrs. Russell, now we want to go add content. And I want to clone a unit. So remember, that was reading, grade 5. So I'm going to go find my reading grade 5 class. It was under reading where I didn't really want it, but look, there's everything I want to clone. So I'm going to click on it. I'm cloning it. It will all show up and clone. So there under alphabetizing are everything I want for them. I don't want them to see the test, so I toggle it gray so they can't see it. I think I'm going to toggle the practice activity. And all we have are the objectives, content, video, and notes, which I will be giving to them tomorrow. We will do in class, but that's grade 5. So let's go to grade 6, grammar. So you ladies are helping me get my assignments done here. let's see, we took care of science. Yes. Oh, how wonderful. Atmosphere. I'm ready for tomorrow. Then I'm being observed on Tuesday. So I got to get to that, but I can do that maybe tomorrow after school, but she needs that lesson plan. So I went to grade 6. I am wanting to go to add content because I want it in my overall. I don't want it under coursework. I don't want it under homework or any of that. I am going for grammar, add content. I'm going to go to the lesson library. And where do we find it? Good job. It's all the way at the bottom. So we're going to scroll all the way down. We're in grade 6 this time. But once you turn it on, it's not going to be at the bottom. It will move up to whatever you have going on in that, as I would say, container. So at this moment, it's all the way at the bottom. But if you see these yeses, once you turn it on, it comes back up to anything that is in your yes category. Alphabetizing, there it is. I'm going to turn it on yes. Sometimes takes a minute because I see it spinning sort of up there behind the picture of me. And that's why sometimes if you're not patient, I will have clicked it, click, click, and then it undoes itself. So there's the yes. And we go back up because I want to see what it looks like in my grade 6 grammar. And again, as it added it, it's at the bottom, but I want to move it up. And this time, notice though, it's got all of the activities in it. The first time I did for, what was it, grade 5, it was empty, but we filled it. So it's all there. Same that is bold, they will see, and those that they cannot see, but I see on my side. So I want to go back to reading though. And I want to get rid of those because I really don't want those in the reading category. So I'm going to look at whether they're going to let me delete them. Oh, see, I can delete. Yes, delete. Because I cloned them. I don't need them anymore. And I got them out of the one subject and into the subject that I really want. Delete. All right. So we have now done the learning well. We've done the lesson kit. And the last thing that I'm going to really show you is Nearpod. I'm not going to go into the Splash Learn. Mrs. Deborah Clark is going to help teach us on the Boodle. I now have an account, but I don't have a clue what I'm doing on it. And Splash Learn, I can at least show it to you, hopefully. But maybe I need to do that on another one so I don't feel rushed and you don't have to watch so much. But the Nearpod. So to get to what we're doing for Nearpod, you go to your Renaissance. You see in your LMS, you've got your 3 lines, top left by the name of your school, and you click on Renaissance, just like sort of the kids have been going to do the testing and you've probably been going to read your information. The one thing I don't like about it sometimes, it winds up shutting you out of your LMS and you have to go back and open it up. It goes into Renaissance and you can't go back. So depending on what you're looking for, whether it is the STAR reading, STAR early literacy, and if you've done both, because our lower primary 1, 2, and 3, and they wound up doing both, it shows up on one screen. Math is separate, and we also did preschool. So let's go ahead and let's do reading. My kids are having harder time in reading than math. And so I go to the record book. So you go to whichever assessment you're wanting to look at. And I know Miss Debbie, that last week we had to turn in the list of the students who were needing intervention. So it's saying it's giving us a snag. Let's try it again. Could be record book. Sometimes, hopefully, it's saying, oops. No. Let's try math. Record book. They could be doing some type of update at this moment and why we can't get in. Oh, bummer. All right. Well, you know what? Let me go to, I think I can go to Nearpod. Hopefully it'll log me in without me having to go look up my password. I have a spreadsheet that helps me with my passwords, but sometimes it'll remember you. It's gonna make me sign in. So ladies, let's see. You're going to see what I have. Your screen has been paused. Aha, you can hear me, but it's been paused. I will Nearpod. Okay. Let's go back to your screen. Good, we're back. I usually don't have it remember me. That way nobody else can automatically sort of do keystrokes to figure out who I am. That's why I have that. So we're back, I'm sharing. And in Nearpod, here's the issue that we may have to deal with is that we've talked as a school, if the Ministry of Education is not going to purchase us a Nearpod account, you only have so much memory. So last week or before the assessment, I had several of my higher level girls to take some of these for my practice. Well, what I found out is, and we talked about it, we may have to do an overall school training for just the kids to know what it is. If it's only a video, that's one of the items. So I assigned it as a student pace. Then I've also done it as a live participation where the kids had they had the computers that they could information for it, or front of class. So if I click on that, let's see if it allows, it will go, and we're still sharing. It was a video. And it was about prediction. We were just getting, this is an interactive video. I'm going to say yes. So as she begins.
Hi, and welcome to this video about predictive reading. Today, we'll explain what predictive reading is, the importance of predictive reading, and walk you through some easy examples that will...
Okay, and you see each one of those dots, that is where I said in putting up videos later, I think we can learn to have our own stop points that will ask questions, and students are able to enter it either, which do readers not use to make a prediction. And so my class had to either give the examples we stopped, they were working with me, or if they are taking it individually, you have them write it in their notes. And then you're able to show the solution. And that's what was really great about this as an option. However, when we looked at, let's see if I can go back. When we looked at, I had a math one that when I just click on it to preview, I want to preview it. Go away, little, there, clear that. If I'm having a hard time being able to figure out these tiles, so I'm going to click on it, it shows. And usually it says, see, it's 1 of 37 word problems, dividing whole numbers by fractions. When a student access it, they access it, either you give them a link, there's a QR code. And again, Nearpod could be used part of our after school. That we thought that's how we may have to do it. We're going to probably use it in after school and lower primary versus upper primary. So we don't have to come up with the actual individual lessons. And what you missed because we couldn't get into the grade book, determined based upon the students, you click on them and it gives you the actual problems and these slides that will help boost them to the next level. So all of this information, I didn't have to choose what lessons to give to the students. It was already there. I assigned it. The upper girls, I wound up putting the link in their LMS messages. They clicked on it. Video, they didn't have any problem. But when you look at going through these, a lot of it may also include teacher material. And some of them saw that and now it's a learning objective. So we go through it. But when you get to a place, let's get started. And it keeps on going. But it's going to ask them to enter something. This is the collaborative. I think we're on the collaborative board. And it's got tools that if you go back to Seesaw, some of us used back right after Dorian. So there's, how do I collaborate? What do I do? You know, my students, the upper ones didn't know. Well, there it is. You can either put a picture, you can put a camera, the microphone, or a GIF, or you can just type it in. I'm just seeing that now because when I came to this to look at it, I had no clue. So then that's great because as a teacher, that's going to have that for me when I go back into the reports. So here's our information. And then it's going to now have them to draw something. And again, the students are going to have to practice how to use these tools. And if I can't, they're going to have difficulty. So I'm just letting you know, it's great resources, but as teachers, we still may have to deal with, we can't teach it until we know exactly how to do it. And the problem is we don't always have time. So let me go back, at least look at the reports, because that's the other part of Nearpod that is great. Predictive reading. It shows that this was the student pace. These were the 3 girls I sent. And if I click on the session, it now gives me the report. And I got to show this to them, but this is participation. This is not necessarily how well they did. Because again, as it's tutoring, it's helping them to get better at the concepts. And so this student got 83% participation. So probably somewhere in this was that video, didn't answer a question or didn't stop or something happened. This student, hey, they didn't even wind up completing it. They had 0, and this person, they did everything that was asked of them. So overall, the 3 in the group, they got about a 61%. And the way you can do, again, on the other side, let's go back and see if Renaissance is acting again. Maybe they'll give it to us. But it's in the Renaissance where you are able to go and it's not. where you are able to go and you can group the students again as groups, individuals, and you can then, as a group, assign this group. You can have them all be the same level, or you could have them, again, a strong, medium, and a low student. So when they work together, they're able to help each other. So those are the items and the Splash Learn. Did I go? Let's go to Splash Learn, see if that'll let me get in without, because I had closed everything over the weekend. I had another, you are already signed in. Okay. In my Splash Learn, which I really like, it's able to show me the students, when they were last in from home, when they were last in for class. And if I go to I have assigned facts. And so it's track, fact, practice. This is what I'm working on to get their multiplication and division at this moment. You could do add, subtract. So I'm able to see that this young lady has 36 of 200. She is faithful. Her mom puts her on every day. There are 100 of the multiplication, there's 100 of the division, and they're just flashcards. So if she's going on, it says her newest fluent is 6, but I can go look at her details. Math facts. And so she is pretty much master. She has all of her 2s, all of her 5s, almost all of her 3s, because again, when you are working on these, see, she's got her 1s and 2s and 5s because she's working on them. She has them mastered here. So it's really something that they are able to take about 20 minutes. Sometimes I get to do it in class, sometimes I don't. And then I remembered I needed to put myself in there. Oh, go to student experience. Mrs. Russell, that's me. How you like my little, you can make up who you look like, and that the kids like that. And you have a class code, everything works so that, again, I try to make sure their LMS and their other items that they log on to match. Says I've got 2 math assignments I haven't done. I don't plan on doing them at this moment. You have math. I can look at multiplication, division that they can discover. So after they've finished whatever I've assigned them, those math facts for 20 minutes, they can now go into and do a lot of other fluency kind of games and activities. And so there is, let's see if I can move this down. Yeah. And it's free at school, it's free at home. But to be free at home, they have to have a parent's email address. So I have that information for you, and I think I gave you some in the assignments or that we had. So we had Nearpod. We're looking into how much does it cost to get a school Nearpod, but that's a whole nother thing. We'll be in touch with you. So ladies, I'm going to stop sharing. I hope that you have been able to enjoy this session. I hope that it gave you more information, and it's about 5 o'clock, and I think I can double check and I will be home. I told Craig I would probably work till 5:30 before it got dark, and I'm going to still take home some spelling and some handwriting and some math, but I can do that at home. So hope this went well, ladies. Love you all and hope to see you soon. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to get this sent to you. Bye.